All right, today we're going to be taking a look at fractions on a number line. So I'm first going to start off with just one whole. So my number line would go from 0 wholes to where the end of the whole is finished, 1 whole. Right? So from 0 to 1 is 1 whole, or 1 out of 1 piece, right? So I'm using my denominator here to show me how many pieces the whole is broken into. So if I were to ask where 1/2 is on that number line, I would need to break my whole into 2 pieces. There's my whole from 0 to 1, and I mark on that number line where each piece has ended, right? So here, 0 halves, 1/2, 2 halves. 2 halves is the same thing as 1. It's the same thing as 1 out of 1 piece. If I were to ask where 2/4 on a number line was, I would need to take my whole and break it into 4 pieces. Right? So I've got 0/4. That's where my 1/4 is ended. 2/4 have ended. 3/4 have ended here. And then finally 4/4. Okay, so that's how it works when the number line is between 0 and 1. Now pay attention to the denominator. That's the rule for the number of pieces each whole is broken into. But as we know, there are more numbers after 1 on a number line, right? So when we think about a ruler, it's got 12 whole inches on it, right? When we measure the ruler, that's where the first inch is ended, second, third, fourth, fifth. So you can think about a ruler as a number line as well, right? And each inch is also broken up into pieces. So if we think about that in relation to a number line, we got 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. I mark on that number line where the holes have ended. So I have 0. This is where that first hole is ended. That second hole is ended. Right? In this case, each of my holes is broken into 1 piece. So my denominator is 1. And that's where that third hole has ended. So each piece is broken into just 1 piece, 1 hole, right? But I could do that same thing when I broke my whole. If I were to ask where 1/2 on the number line is, I would have to break each whole into 2 pieces. Right? Just like a ruler on a number line. The fraction is plotted where that piece is ended, right? So here we have 0 halves. This is where the first half is ended. And then we're at 2 halves, right? 2 halves is the same thing as 1 out of 1 piece, or 1 whole, right? Now I've got 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves. Just the same thing as 1 whole and a half, right? 4 halves is ended right here. 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves is equal to 2 wholes. 5 halves, 6 halves, which makes sense because if each hole is broken into 2 pieces, we have 2, 4, 6 halves to make a total of 1, 2, 3 holes. Same thing works for thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, eighths, whatever it might be. Okay, for this next part, I'm going to draw pictures because when we think about our fraction circles, if I were to break each hole into 3 pieces on a circle, it's not going to make the same shape as a number line, right? I'm not able to plot where that piece ends because it's not vertical or horizontal right there. So I'm just going to draw something that stands for the hole that is horizontal. Remember, each piece is the same size. So if I were asked where 5/4 on the number line was, I would break each hole into 4 pieces. I like to do that by breaking it in half, and then half the halves for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. That rule applies for each one. So here I would have 0/4. This is where the first fourth is ended. The second fourth is ended. So I can see 2/4 is the same thing as 1/2. They're in the same place on that number line. 3/4. 4/4 makes the whole. Then we've got our 5th fourth. That's what we were looking for, right? Here's where the 6th fourth ends. 7th fourth, 8/4 to make a whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hole, right? For 2 holes. We got 1 hole, 2 holes, same as 8/4. 9/4, 10/4, 11/4, 12/4. Remember, on the number line, I plot where that piece has ended. Notice how I'm not putting it in the middle, saying that this is our 4, 5, 6, 7th fourth. I put it where that piece has ended. I could do the same thing if I were to break this up into thirds. So here's where that first hole is, 1, second hole, 2, third hole, 3. If I were to be asking you where 9/3 is on the number line, I would follow my rule. Break each hole into 3 pieces. Right? So here's where 0/3 is. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 makes the whole. 4/3, 5/3, 6/3 is the same as 2. 7/3, 8/3, and then finally there's our 9/3, which is the same as 1 hole, 2 holes, and then finally 3 holes. So just remember, when you are finding fractions on a number line, follow the rule of the denominator for every single hole. All right? Have fun plotting fractions on a number line. Good luck.